I have never had a 5 hour energy shot. I don't, yeah, like, I feel nervous. Take it. Is that
I know,
weird?
it feels
Like,
potent. Like it
I'm
feels like a potion.
I'm totally fine sipping on a Red Bull or a Monster or
Mhm.
something like that. But yeah, this just seems like you have distilled it down to its essence, and it is the most chemically potent. And I like one shot of this thing, and my whole body will be fucked up or something.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm weird. Who knows? I was trying to do this and then transition that thing once more because my name is Kyle Springer and
It
that's
sure
Melissa
is.
Wilkinson. That way.
Also, that's true.
Yes. And this is episode 40 of the Captain's Log, which I guess I still haven't updated in the little thing down here, so I'm going to do that right now. Bam. Episode 40 of the Captain's Log. There we go. Everything is happening. Everything is good. My mic is working this time. I think your
Yeah.
mic is. Yep, your mic is working this time.
Okay, good.
Weird. It's like
Nothing
weird
went
that
wrong.
everything
This
is
is
working
strange.
correctly.
Yeah.
That's strange. Um, yeah. So how has your week been? This is our like off topic show. We can just kind of come out and hang out and relax and stuff. So what did you do this week? Long pregnant pause.
The same as always. Like I worked, I watched a movie, I recorded another podcast this week.
Oh, you've cheated on me. I'm kidding. It's like, oh, a normal week. I cheated on you. I did this. I did that.
Promoted you. I get a promo spot at the end, and I'm like, come check out these two other shows.
I'm kidding. I know you do those other shows. Which one is this the role play one that you do?
No, I'm not. That one's so sporadic. I do it when the GMs tell me they're ready for it to happen.
Okay.
So I haven't done that in a while. Who knows when I'll do it again soon? But oh. This was my friend Christina has a show called The Home for Wayward OCs, where she just interviews people about.
You mentioned that one.
Yeah,
before.
she interviews people about original characters they've made up. And I was actually
Who did you make up this time, Melissa?
I was actually her first guest, and I came back a year later to sort of talk about the other part of the story. Both times.
So sorry to interrupt, but you said you were her first interview? Was that this time? But you also said a year later. So were you?
I was the first interviewee on her show. Ever.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm back again, like a year later.
I was like, how is it an interview show? But she's been doing it for a while, and you're the only first. Like, okay, that makes sense. Continue.
No, I done two of them, and both times I've been talking about my. Oh, is that one of those smoothies?
I'm addicted. I am addicted.
I can't believe you wrote Kyle has a newfound addiction to smoothies in the show notes, because this has been happening for a long time.
Kind of. Well, I mean, I guess the tropical smoothie, I've had that a couple times on the show. I mean, I've always liked smoothies, but back to you real fast. Then we'll get back to
then we're gonna talk
smoothies.
about the exciting world of smoothies.
Coming up on the Whatnauts Captain's Log, Kyle's addicted to smoothies.
Both times I've been on the show, I've been talking about the story I wrote for my college capstone. I was a creative writing major, and I took a lot of like English creative writing classes and some like media and communicate. Is Sam here?
Sam is here.
Sam. And I took some like media and communications classes where I had to do a little bit of like screenwriting practice. Mm-hmm. So for like 4 different writing classes in college, all my final projects were in like this one world and about this one story, and the professors never put it together. Not like I was breaking any rules, like, hang on.
So you had the Marvel Cinematic Universe before the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, during the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I wasn't in college that long
Oh,
ago.
that's true. I'm not thinking about the dates.
Like, wrote this the year Avengers came out.
Okay.
Yes, it was a project I worked on all through college and like years after college. And I kind of put it on the shelf and I haven't been working on it until Christina asked, like, hey, can you come back on the podcast and talk about one of those characters again?
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, so I just spent the whole week like revisiting old stuff and reading through old notes and listening to like the playlists I made and getting back in there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this was fun. Why don't I do this anymore?
Was it like? I'm sure it was good memories, fun, but was it like cringe worthy to go back and look at your stuff of just like, ooh, why did I write that? What was I thinking? Or were you like, this is actually a solid idea?
It's a little bit of both. Like, I like a lot of the core concepts, but I'm reading through these notes. What this was supposed to be, I wanted it to be a TV show of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's got like these multi-episode, like multi-season structures, like all these characters that come in and out. It's designed to be episodic. And I'm reading my notes and there's characters that are coming up and I'm like, I forgot I ever made that person. I guess if I forgot them, I never needed them that much in the first place. So the next time I sit down and I work on this, I'm like, okay, there's so much fat to trim off of this. I have to cull a lot of this because why did I make it so complicated to begin with?
That must have been fun though to sit back and look at all of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And it's funny you mention Avengers and the MCU because it was a superhero story. It is a superhero story. It still exists as much as it ever did exist.
Who is your favorite character that you made? Or is that the one you talked about, or is it did
Yes.
you kind of talk about the whole thing?
Uh last year this is the character I picked. Both times it ended up being like, okay, Christina, I have a lot of story plots to lay down on you. And I'll kind of center it around like one character each. Because a lot of the guests she has on are people that like artists who made a character or role players who made a character where it's a lot more character based and whatever
Huh,
story they're in kind of changes, depending on what games they're
sure.
playing, what projects they're working on, whatever. And I was like, I have a dedicated story. They don't exist outside of this one story. My favorite character was a superhero named Magna Man,
Magnum Man.
who has metal controlling powers. So everybody thinks it stands for magnetic, but no, his name stands for Magnanimous Man.
Magnanimous Man.
Because he is the number one golden boy superhero of this entire city. And he's like fully sanctioned by the mayor. And the mayor is like this real hard goody two shoes of a woman. Like, with great power comes great responsibility to the extreme. Like,
Mm-hmm.
everybody needs to be a good citizen all the time. I'm watching you. And he is here to be a role model for all of you, to help your fellow man and sacrifice all the things that you don't really need, just so you can be there helping people. And he's this big, shining hero for the city. He's always there when somebody's in trouble, but secretly he's like, I'm so tired. I never get a break. I never wanted to
Oh
do
God, I hate
this.
my life. He's pounding down the alcohol.
And he's not like a hard, gritty superhero. He's just like this sad, soft man who's like, I want to go to bed. I feel terrible not being a superhero because I know that's the right thing to do. But gosh, I'm tired. I wish I had a personal life. I wish I had a friend.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sam says, one of the last times this was mentioned, you were like, boy, I sure like the idea of being on a podcast. And you felt like you were neglecting gloves off. And I said, obviously, turn it into a radio play.
That was the name of the story. It was called Gloves Off because it was about looking at like superheroes and supervillains and their personal lives, like when they're not out on the town and
When
in
they've had it.
costumes. Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
okay, gloves are coming off.
It's like, well, there's fighting, but there's also just like people being vulnerable and like what their
Existential
personal
dread.
lives are like. Yeah, yeah. I I've considered it. That's like a big long-term project for further down the road if I could make this into an audio show of some
Cool.
kind. But it would be fun. I really do want to try even just like a short 15, 20 minute like standalone audio drama sometime.
Sure. Just like a short story thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. Fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
I I would love to do some kind of writing like that,
Mm-hmm.
but then I just realized that I want to do so many other things. I'm just like I would never have the time for that.
Yeah.
I'm the type of like creative that likes trying everything. And so then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, well, I don't get to do everything that way, even though I want to, or I don't get to do everything like to the extent that I want to, you know. Or it's just like, this is really cool. I could do that, and then it's like, well, yeah, but I also want to go do this other thing and make this podcast, and
Just a variety of skills.
I
And
yeah, I kind of like to be a jack of all trades
mm-hmm.
type of
I
thing.
I think you are. I think that's good. Like I really wanted to be a writer and eventually I figured out I don't like doing this so much because it is by its nature a solitary activity and I'm a really extroverted person. I've figured that out about myself. I like
Mhm.
doing some
I'm the
quiet
exact
personal things.
opposite.
Like I like reading, I like sitting down with a movie and like really engaging and paying attention to the movie without having another person like watch
Mhm.
it with me. But on the whole, like I need social contact. Like I need to be talking with people. And I just got out of like I like the creative part of it, but I'm like I don't like being alone just by myself for that long when it comes to writing things. And I think that's why I like tabletop RPGs so much because I get that like character building and world building out of me, but like I am doing it with other people.
Yeah. I'm it's weird because I'm exact opposite in the sense that I'm very much an introvert, and outside of these shows it's like headphones in, don't talk to anyone, super quiet, and everyone thinks that I'm super shy, which I'm not, but I just because I don't talk to people like
Mhm.
in a day-to-day life, like, oh, he must be super shy, you know. Like, no, I just don't want to talk to you guys. But at the same time, like, I like talking to people. That's
Yeah.
kind of why I've always wanted to do what we do now at the review show. Like, I like watching a movie or reading some
Yeah.
comic book or something and then talking about it with someone.
Mhm.
I don't need to be on stage like in front of 100 people or something, you know.
Yeah, I don't exactly have that in me either. Like I used to
I've
go
been
to a
on
lot
stage
of
and stuff like that, but it's not for me.
dancing.
uh yeah, mainly
Okay.
that. We did like weekly dance workshops too, and I was the one to like
Yeah.
wrangle everyone up and do the introductions and all of that stuff. So I mean, in the long run, I think it kind of helped me here with the podcast and stuff. But yeah, it was just like, all right, guys, gather around. We're about to start. let's do that stuff. Story time, guys. Let's stretch.
I remember when we watched Wet Hot American Summer and you told me all those camp stories and you did not get to the part where you basically were Amy Poehler in that movie, like the leader of all the dance kids.
Yeah, basically. So no, I mean, I never did dance stuff while I was at camp.
Mhm.
It wasn't until college that I started to dance stuff. But again, like that's one of the creative things that I was like, ooh, that looks fun. I'll do that. And then I did, and I loved it, and it was super fun. But it's like now I like, as much as I would want to go back, I want to spend my time doing other things, you know.
Mhm.
And it's hard for a lot of people to say no to things.
Mhm.
Sometimes, you know, they're just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do that. And I'm slowly. I mean, I guess maybe not slowly, but I like. I yeah. It's hard for me. I know how to say no, but it's still
Mhm.
hard because I'm like, but I want to do it. but I know I can't because I don't have time
Yeah.
or money.
My big creative pursuit right now is I want to get better at baking. Like I told you about that big cake I made for my boss's birthday a couple weeks
That
ago.
like immaculate creation. Yeah.
I'm making another cake this weekend for my mom's birthday.
There you
And
go.
yeah, my older brother like texted us last week like, "Hey, we're going to do mom's birthday at my house. There's going to be like pizza and cake and stuff." I'm like, "Oh, they have the cake." And then today he's like, "Do you want to make the cake actually, or like we could make it if you prefer?" And I'm like, "No, I've got the cake. I can do the cake."
That's funny.
Like I love doing that because like you do it by yourself usually. Like I could have somebody help me bake, but my kitchen is very small and it's kind of impractical. And it keeps me like focused enough that I don't really miss the fact that I'm doing it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a people focused activity in the end. Like you bake things to share them with
Yeah.
others and everybody gathers around and you look at it and like people watch a cake being cut. Like not even just at like a wedding or a birthday where there's some sort of ceremony to it.
There's
I feel like in normal life people are like, "Oh, there's a cake? Well, let me watch you cut into the cake. Let me see how this whole thing's put together."
there's a couple foods like that where it's more like, yeah, it's food and it's stuff you want to share, but there is this like almost weird tradition or ceremony or
Hmm.
ritual of like, oh, let's cut the cake, let's carve the turkey, let's do X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z. It's strange.
Let's all gather around the barbecue and watch the man flip burgers.
Exactly. um Smoothies, speaking of food.
Smoothies are not a
I
food people
so
gather around for.
No, it's not. I had a much better segue, but we transitioned like too far away for me to
Cool.
use that. Back when we were still on like shared universes and bringing different things together, I was going to be like, well, speaking of bringing things together to make something even better, I like smoothies and I'm hopelessly addicted right now.
Like once a month for the entire time we've been doing this podcast. I'm like, "Yep, happy Sunday morning, Kyle. How are you doing?" And you're like, "I just came back from the smoothie place." So I
Yep.
don't this has been happening to you for a while now.
Smoothies are good. But like I've I'm in a new house and I'm not
Hmm.
walking distance from the grocery store anymore. Not that my house was particularly within walking distance. I just walk everywhere,
Hmm.
or I used to. So now I have to take the bus to get there or get a ride from my roommate since I don't have a car. And it's one of those things where I either need to like stock up on stuff so I don't have to keep going back, or take the bus on a Saturday, or immediately after work I can take like there is a bus stop literally outside the front door of my work that goes
Hmm.
straight to the grocery store. So
Hmm.
I can do that and get small things. But then it's hit or miss on the bus if it's gonna be packed or not, and like I don't want to have like 5 bags of things. Like, sorry, excuse me, can I sit there? Um, but like, yeah. So I'm changing up habits, and I guess just one of those things as you get older is like you need to eat healthier, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. And I have such a huge sweet tooth that
Hmm.
it's always like candy and soda and stuff like that, and smoothies are like a good way for me to have that really sweet thing and it not really be bad for me, because it's like,
Yeah.
here's fruit and I
Yeah.
mix in yogurt and orange and pineapple juice and that's it.
Hmm.
There's no uh, extra sugar. There is, but not like,
Hmm.
here's a whole packet of colored sugar.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now it's like, wow, now I can just get all this stuff and it's cheap and it's healthy and it's good and I like it. I should just
Smoothies are
do it
good.
all the time.
Yeah, one of the first things I bought when I moved out was my own magic bullet because I liked my parents'
That's what
magic
we
bullet
have,
so
I
much.
think. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
that, yeah,
nice.
is it like a personal size thing where you, because like
Yeah.
this thing is the thing that goes on the
Oh, ours is a little
blender.
smaller than that. Maybe they've made him bigger because I did buy
They
this
have a
thing like
different
4
model,
years ago.
something,
Yeah.
who knows. But yeah, it's basically a water bottle, and the blade thing like
Yeah.
screws on as the top, and you stick that in the thing, um and then you just take it off and put the actual like water bottle top on, and you have a
Hmm.
smoothie
The
on the go.
smoothie.
Yeah, so I like, I'm at the point where I was debating getting the big bag of, like, you can get the like $4 bag that has all the mixed fruit, and I was like, should I just get the giant one that's like $16 and will last me like 2 weeks? Oh, who knows?
Hmm.
Maybe, but I am hopelessly addicted.
Smoothies are fun.
Yeah, I need to experiment more with putting different stuff in. I've just gotten the one. It's like, oh, I know I'll like that mix. It's strawberries and oranges and pineapples, I
I
believe.
I would
It's really
put
good.
oats in smoothies sometimes, like just raw oats, and it gets ground up really fine. So it
Interesting.
gives like there's like a little bit of a grainy texture to your smoothie, but oh, it helps like kind of thicken it up and give it some body and give you whatever benefits oats have for you. I know there's many. I forget what they are. Yeah, I'm
I'm
trying
not big
oats.
on health food or
Big on
anything like
health.
that. This is like the healthiest that I'll get.
I the
I'll have a
meal
smoothie once or twice a week, something
The
like
meal
that.
boxes I've been getting have been making me eat healthier because it's introducing me to new vegetables and what I can do with them. Like, I've been buying kale voluntarily.
My
I
mom
bought
likes that stuff.
I bought zucchinis this week. Like, I'm gonna try and mess around with what I can do with a zucchini. I love shallots. I learned that. I learned I like poblano peppers. Like all kinds of different stuff. Like I'm learning that I like it and what to do with it. And then after like they send me a couple different recipes, like, okay, it's zucchini again. Like then I'm starting to figure out, okay, I can integrate zucchini into my normal life outside of the boxes
Gotta think outside the box.
with vegetables.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's the one that I'm. There's all sorts of stuff that I just I stay away from buying because I don't know what to look for. Which I
Yeah.
know I can easily just like look it up online. Like, what's a good potato look like? You know, what are the things to look for? I don't know. Um, or just ask my mom, like, hey mom, I need to buy a onion or a pepper or something. What are the things I should look for? You
Ugh.
know, or how do I know this broccoli isn't bad?
I told you once about a book called The Girl Who Would Be King.
Yes, I don't remember it, but yes.
I, I briefly mentioned it on our review show episode about the Infinite Loop because the author of
Mhm.
that book like wrote a little blurb for the back of Infinite Loop.
Okay.
This is a novel about two teenage girls that develop superpowers. I'm really into superpower based media.
Superpowers are cool.
And there's like a good girl and a bad girl, like definitely, and they are like two opposing forces. Like it's really a good versus evil story. Like,
Yeah.
no layers to it. Like there's these cosmic forces at work and it's fate. There's a
Unabashed.
good one and a bad one. Yeah. And the good one, who's so good, her name is Bonnie Braverman. She's been super strong her whole life and
Nailed
she
it.
can do these incredible feats. She can save people from burning buildings, but she gets this date and she agrees to like make dinner for her date when he comes over.
Hmm.
And she's in the store trying to pick out asparagus and she's like
I
looking
wouldn't know what
from
to do.
one asparagus to another asparagus and she's like, I can punch my way through this building right now. I can do all of these things. I don't know how to buy an asparagus. I don't know what one is.
That's me. That's me. It's like
Look
I
at
can
what
make
you were
motion
building.
graphics and do graphic design, and I can have a blue light behind me like I have right now, and a red one for the review show. But I don't know how to buy an asparagus. That's yeah, no.
We'll learn. I'm not
I'll
eating
learn.
all the way yet. I don't know all the vegetables. I think
I
next I might want to learn eggplant.
I think I even went to go look for asparagus and I couldn't even find it. I was just like, I don't even know where it
Whoa.
is.
It's with other green things, probably.
I went there and I couldn't find it. I swear, it was just they didn't have room for it. Because my roommates made some asparagus and some broccolini that
Mm,
she cooked in her like bacon grease and stuff like that. And it was
yeah.
so good. It was
Bacon's a
amazing.
secret.
Yeah, and I was like, I like that sounds easy. Just make some bacon, eat bacon, and then make asparagus cooked
Yeah.
in said bacon grease. Add some onions or whatever to
Mm-hmm.
spice it up or something, you know? And then that could go good with a steak or something.
Mm-hmm. I cooked steak by myself for the first time this week.
I had a steak this week too.
Wow, we're living large.
Hell yeah. And Sam says, I can complete a run of Link to the Past randomizer in under 3 hours in 2 settings, but I can't tell you how to cook an egg. I
Oh,
feel your pain.
we gotta get on eggs, Sam. Like next time we are physically in the
I
same
can
city,
scramble
we're gonna
eggs.
have egg lesson.
That's it. I can scramble eggs, and then I'll sometimes make myself a ham, egg, and cheese bagel because my dad sometimes would make those for me. And we used to have those, I guess like the egg things you can put in a frying pan, and you can
Those
do
like
it in there, and it makes like an
silicone
egg.
rings.
Yeah, and it makes like an egg patty. We used to
I
have those
love
things,
those things.
but I don't
use
have
those
that
like
now.
every week. They are worth the investment. The little silicone egg rings.
I'm sure they're just like $5 for one.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. Now I'll just like crack the egg, and then just as it's starting to cook, just fold it in on itself, so it's like an omelet with nothing else, and it's just like you're gonna be an omelet that fits on my bagel.
An egg filled with more egg.
Exactly. Oh man, this has been a strange week. In terms of like just lots of weird news that's happened this week. There was the whole R. Kelly thing that happened today. He finally got convicted for peeing on someone. And if you haven't seen the whatchamacallit, the Dave Chappelle song, that I want to pee on you song, you guys should go watch that because that's fucking hilarious. But I did my taxes.
Oh, you're
This
really
week.
being a grown up.
Yeah, and that was an adventure, let me tell you.
It always is.
So I'm sitting there doing my taxes, and they're like, "Oh, you have some special thing, so we can't do the free version of that." And I was like, "Okay, I don't know what that means." So I continued and all of that stuff, and it didn't help me get a better refund. I ended up owing money, which is baffling to me because I definitely did the option where it was like, take the most out of my paycheck, so I don't have to owe at the thing, and just every so often it's like, oh, you owe. And I'm just like, how does that work?
I usually owe Missouri, but like America as a whole gives me some dollars.
I don't think I've ever owed Virginia, but usually it's like, we'll kick you $6.
Thanks, Virginia.
Keep the change, you filthy animal. You know, like that's what it feels like. It's just like, I mean, I guess I can go the dollar menu at McDonald's now, you know. But so yeah, so I did the whole thing that was like, you have to do this special thing because you can't do the free thing. It's mainly to make sure that you get like you know the best refund possible. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back and not do that way, and see if there's a difference, because it didn't take long at all. Like, let me just see. And there wasn't any. So I was like, oh, sweet. I guess I don't have to do that special thing, you know? And then it was still just like, no, you need to do the special thing. Like, you have to do that. It's like $30. I was like, all right, well, I guess it was like $39.99 or something. And I was like, all right, well, 40 more bucks that I owe. I guess it's, you know, it's not that much more. And then in their little fine print, if you do that special one where you pay more, you also have to pay to file state. And it's another $40. So it went from 0 to 80 real fast. And I was like, how fucking dare you guys? This is ridiculous. So stupid. So it's like an extra almost 100 that I have to pay on top of me owing actual taxes for them to, like, I did the furry one and it didn't change. It's just, yeah, you owe us $80 now for no reason. That's it.
What were you using?
TurboTax. The hottest PC game right now.
That's what I've always done, is I buy like the physical disc of a TurboTax. I split the cost with my brother because you can have multiple people.
You can do it on their website.
No, but if I go to if I buy the physical disc, then I'm just paying that the one time, and I split it with him. So it ends up being cheaper for both of us to file our taxes. And you have to pay to file state, but like...
This is the first time that I've had to pay to actually file my taxes. So, and I think it had something to do with my health care, because that was the big thing. They were like, okay, well, you need to sign into your... You need your like 1099 thing for the health care stuff. And I was like, oh shit, I don't know where that is. I know I got it, but I got it when I was at the old house.
Oh,
and I was like, I don't know what I did with that. And literally everything was unpacked. And I was like, there might be a spot over here, over there. And no, it wasn't there. So I was like, all right, I think you can do it online, because I think that's what I did the year before. And I, for some reason, could not get into my healthcare.gov account. And I was like, well, this is stupid. What the fuck? Like, this is my user ID. This is my password. I have a variation on a single password. So if it's not this, I know it's maybe these 4 or 5 other things, you know? And I did the, like, forgot my password, all of that stuff, and you have to call in. They won't let you just do it online, or they do some like roundabout thing where it's like, oh yeah, we'll send you an email so you can reset your password, but then the email is just like, call this number. And it's just like, oh fuck you guys. So I call, and I finally get on the phone, and it sounds like this really old woman on the other end, and I want to say it's like 5:36ish in the afternoon. So it's the end of the workday, and she just sounds so tired. And I was sitting there. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to reset my password for my account. I like, that's the only thing that I need help with. And she was like, okay, what's your username? And I give her the username. She goes, no, that's not the username. And I said, well, that's the username I've used. I made sure I changed it last year, because I remember when I first had to sign up, it had me type in my email, or like it was an old one that I used to have, and so I did my my email there, and that became my username. And you can't change it, or I guess that's what I learned with this thing, is that you can't actually change it. But last year I thought I did, because I hated having that thing as my username. I'm like, I don't want that. Like, give me an actual thing, you know. And so I thought I changed it. I was like, well, this is the thing. And I remembered that when I was trying to figure out my password. So I tried both usernames. None of them worked.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, well, your username is actually this thing here. And I was like, okay, I tried that one, but literally it didn't work. And when you hit the like send me an email thing to get a new password, that was the one I hit it on first. This old one that I didn't like. I hit
Mm-hmm.
the send me an email button on that one first. And this like alert text pops up that says, if this is a valid username, we will send you an email to that username.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't get an email to that old one.
Oh, oh,
And
dang.
I checked my spam. I did all of that stuff, and I hit resend. I waited 5 or 10 minutes. Nothing came in. But when I used my newer one, it sent me one right away. So I was like, your website is literally telling me that the old one is not my username,
Mm-hmm.
because it will only send me the email if it is a valid username. Therefore, my old one is not a valid username. And she's like, well, that's not what this thing says, you know. I was just like, well, what the fuck? Like, this is can you just reset my password? And so she has to go through some, what's your name, what's your date of birth, all of that stuff. And she goes, what's your street address? And so I let her know that. And there's a silence afterwards. She goes, no, sir, what's your street address? And I gave it to her again. Like, that's my street. Like, this is where I live right now. And she was like, okay, well, the first thing was my mistake, because I gave the one that was like me right now. And I was like, oh, I just moved. I need to give you the old one because I haven't updated that stuff yet. So I gave her the old one then. And again, a pause. She goes, sir, I need your street address. I'm like, I literally just gave it to you. What is happening? Like, I used to live there. You wouldn't know any better. That's where I used to live. And then,
Kyle, is the end of the story that you found out you were a ghost the whole time?
No, but but then she clarifies, no, I need your whole address. And I was like, well, I could have just given you the whole thing if you had asked for the whole thing at the start, but you were literally only asking for my street address. She was waiting for me to say, like, Richmond, Virginia, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And I was like, you specified street address. If you wanted the whole thing, just ask me for my address. I'm going to assume you want all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, you could tell I was fed up with her. She was fed up with me for not giving her the right username, the right address, all of this stuff. And she was just like, all right, I sent you the email. Bye. And she hung up on me.
Done.
Yeah, she was so done with me. It was terrible.
We have days like that. Yeah, coming from somebody who also works in not exactly customer service, but kind of sort of. Kyle, we have spent the last 20 minutes talking about vegetables and taxes.
Great fun.
Now
right?
we have to talk about
Quality
something
content.
fun. So I googled pictures of Discovery Zone, and can't.
There's that. Okay, let me look what you have up on Skype here.
And I'm like, does Kyle know what a Discovery Zone is? And when like the third picture I found is from a Richmond newspaper, it's like, oh, he has no excuse. He's got to know what a Discovery Zone is.
Why did it not do the thing?
What thing is it not doing?
It didn't open up on Firefox.
Hmm.
My mic is probably freaking out right now because it doesn't like when I use the internet at the same time. From the archives, Discovery Zone, a short-lived indoor play zone enjoyed by kids in the 90s. Discovery Zone, was that like a arcade kind of laser tag,
Discovery Zone was
like a knockoff Chuck E.
it was
Cheese?
it was play stuff. It didn't have really like arcade games. It might have had a couple, but it was mostly like the ball pits, like the tunnels, the tube slides, that stuff. It was all the scamper around activities. And the one I grew up
That's
with
right, Sam.
had
This podcast ain't for kids. That's right. Vegetables and taxes, that's some adult stuff. And Melissa was like, we need to talk about something fun. I have something else we can talk about after this that is definitely adult
Oh, oh
oriented.
yeah. Okay, deal.
So it's like a McDonald's play place, but just
But
like a
like
giant one.
yeah, but like times 8. And the one I grew
That's
up
right,
with
Sam.
had like one of those had like one of those carnival games where you would shoot a little stream of water like at
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
boat and you'd like race the boats. It had one of those. It had pizza. It had like all the prizes, and like we would always cash in our tickets as soon as we got them. I mean, like at the end of the day, not like I did one game, let's go to the counter, let's play another game, let's go to the counter. But we
Yeah.
weren't the kids that were saving them up over the course of an entire summer to get like a TV VCR combo or something like that. We'd spend them that day and we'd get a little plastic necklace or a couple temporary tattoos if we were lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
had something like that. I think it was a Discovery Zone, but I think it was also called Planet Play.
hmm.
I don't know if it was two different companies or it used to be one and then got bought out by one or something, or if it was like a subtitle, like a certain type of Discovery Zone. But
Yeah.
it had a mix of that stuff. It had the big like place thing. It had the arcade games. It had the like skee ball things. It had all of that stuff, but it also had laser tag,
Ooh.
like all in one. And I had a bunch of my birthdays there. I remember, I don't know if it was mine or if it was a friend of mine's birthday, but it was right during the year that Smash Mouth came out with their hit album. And I have a distinct memory of like 5 of us standing on the chairs, like in the birthday room, like screaming at the top of our lungs the songs. Somebody once told me that. It was just like, oh my god, it was the new hotness back then.
It was. It persists to this day.
Yes,
It's a timeless classic. I
yes.
think like there was the Discovery Zones. There's like the more arcade based like Chuck E. Cheese's and Showbiz Pizzas out there. I
Mhm.
think every town has got at least one like off-brand local independent version because we had a giant one called Tumble Drum.
Tumble drum.
Tumble Drum. That was like two
This
discoveries.
weekend only at Tumble Drum.
And it was filled with arcade games. It had the Simpsons arcade game, a
Oh wow.
classic. I had like a Girl Scouts like overnight lock-in there when I was like 9 years old. Tumble Drum I miss. And now it's just like a big boot store.
Oh man. I'm also looking at our stream. I think we're skipping frames really badly or something. Now we're
Ah,
now we should be back.
okey doke.
Continue. Anyways, yeah, we had stuff like that. I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese a couple times as well, but it was always the Planet Play Discovery Zone one that was actually the like cooler one because it had
Yeah.
laser tag.
Yeah, ours didn't have laser tag, but I loved it because I could never quite figure out how to get to everything because they don't hand you a map when you get in there. Like you get into a tube, you don't know where you're coming out. Like, and I'd remember, oh, there's a really cool pipe slide, where it's just a bunch of pipes and you slide across them, a pipe slide. And like
Sure.
somewhere in there is a pipe slide. And like only half the time I could ever figure out how to get in there. some of the times I couldn't. And I'm like, okay, so the mystery of the pipe slide, just gonna have to persist until next time, until I hit the right series of tubes and nets and ladders to get back there.
There's some sexual jokes mixed in there somewhere.
I did just say tube and pipe an awful lot of times. I'm aware.
um, Speaking of that stuff, this is like hard shift. Um, so I've been in more ways than one. Uh, I've been playing a bunch of video games recently.
Yes.
I went from a couple weeks ago. I beat Kingdom Hearts. Then after that, I beat Hitman. Then I went back to Yakuza Kiwami, and then just last night I beat Metro 2033, not the new one, the original, like the first one. But Yakuza Kiwami, that is an interesting game.
Yes.
Uh, it's it's an RPG beat 'em up type of thing. Like it's all like kind of an open world. I think the original one was out in like 2005, so it's an older game, at least by today's standards. And Yakuza Kiwami is a remake of that one in like updated graphics and stuff like that. And it's actually a really good game. And there's a whole bunch of different side stories you can do, and it's weird because this game has a very serious story. It's about this guy who takes the fall for a murder that he did not commit, but he ends up going to jail for 10 years. He gets back out after those 10 years, only to learn that the girl he was in love with has disappeared. 10 billion yen has been stolen. His best friend has been climbing up the ranks in the Yakuza, even though he's not really all that gifted at it, and he's kind of on the bad side now. And it's just like there's this whole like betrayal and crime story and murder mystery and missing and all of that. Like, it seems like a really serious story, but then at the same time you can do just some fucking ridiculous stuff. Like, they have whole side stories where you can like go play baseball at the batting cages and stuff like that. But there's one of them that's really ridiculous, where you can go to a cabaret club. And there's one, you have to get information from this one guy who tells you about some of the local cabaret clubs, and he's like, if you go to these two, you should ask for these hosts. And if you don't know what a cabaret club is, it's kind of like a gentleman's club. You can go sit down and have a drink and stuff like that, but a host will sit down with you. Yes. And it's going to be some kind of scantily clad female, you know. And so, yeah, so I go to this one, and it's this whole side story. You just sit down and have conversations with this girl the entire time. And so the one that I went to, I sat down with her, and it has like dialogue options and stuff like that. And the goal is you want to win over their affection. So by spending money, like by buying more expensive alcohol, by wearing the right clothes, not having like battle equipment on, but like having a necklace on, or having perfume on, or you know, stuff like that. So you have to do all of these things to like gain their affection, and you have to go back over the course of the entire game, and they'll text you and be like, hey, I'm working tonight, you should come hang out with me. And it's like, it's kind of ridiculous. But the one that I went to, she ends up being a lesbian. Like, you find out about her pretty quickly. But she still becomes your friend, and it gets to a point that once you've won over her affections to a certain level, you can ask her out after hours, go hang out and stuff like that. But throughout the course of you talking with her, there's this girl that she meets, and she kind of asks her out a couple times, and it's this awkward thing of she really likes this girl, but they haven't really called it dates.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really know if they're dating, and she hasn't really explicitly asked if this is a date or, hey, are you actually gay? Like, you know, are we just being gal pals? You know, and so it's this thing where it finally gets to her being like, hey, I'm about to like ask her out like seriously. And you go, she's like, can you meet us at the thing for like support? Can you like be there to support me?
Just like in real life.
Yeah, and I mean, she's kind of coming out to this girl, like actually coming out. And so you're like, sure, I don't know why you need me there, but I'll be there.
I do like this story, and the fact that it's a video game and you have one player character, so even if they kind of came up with this side story, there needs to be an excuse for that player character to be there, even if it's kind of awkward.
I mean, and he's like this like tough Yakuza guy with tattoos and all that stuff, and he beats people up, and he's just like, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll be there and help you, you know?
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah, but like, so you go there, and like you immediately see this hostess walking off. You're like, uh-oh, that's not a good sign. Maybe things didn't go so well. So you follow her, and you kind of catch up to her in like the city square. And yeah, it wasn't that she got rejected, but was just like, well, yeah, I was in the process of asking her out, and then just realized that I didn't want to be with her. Like, she was a little more butch than I was expecting, and I just thought, like, if I was like in a relationship with her, like that wouldn't be what I wanted. And so she was the one that was just like, so I just got up and left. But then it gets really strange, where like the whole. I mean, first of all, the idea of you can go to this like gentleman's club and talk to this scantily clad woman the entire game, you know? It's like, okay, that's strange, but sure, it's fun. Why not? But then she asks you out. And you're like, whoa, wait, hold up. Aren't you a lesbian? Like, no. Like, you don't just, you know, get almost rejected from her and then ask me out. Like, that's a weird thing. But then the main character goes on this rant about like letting people be who they are and being okay with like love who you love and all of this stuff. And it was this like really sweet, touching moment, but it was so bizarre coming from this like real macho tough guy Yakuza with tattoo, and just like, you need to like love who you love, and it's okay to let them be who they are and all of that stuff. And apparently that's like the icing on the cake to win her affections. That's like the last thing. Once you get to that, she's like, well, I guess you're right. Like, thank you for that. You know what? You've become my best friend. And even though we're not gonna go like date each other, I want to trust you with this. And she like walks up to you and like leads you kind of around the corner, and it's like, okay, where is this going? Are we on our way to a hotel? What is happening? And then instead of it like being something in game, she like goes to hug you, and then the screen goes black, and then a live action video starts playing, and it is literally the softest of softcore porn.
Wow.
It's a model that looks exactly like the character in the game. She's in this like nightgown kind of sheer thing. You can't actually see anything,
Mhm.
and it's only an M-rated game, so then they're not going to show like live nudity or like real people nudity and stuff. But like the sexiest scenes in there, you see some shots of her cleavage, or she's like bent over and you can see her panties and stuff like that. It's just like, what is going on? And it's like it's like a 4-minute video of her just like rolling around in the bed,
So it's
acting
not
like,
even like any kind of plot or
no, it is not
dialogue, character
interactive
building.
at all. It's just like, hey, we're best friends now. By the way, here's my porn.
Here's take this
And it's
sexy FMV I
but
made.
yeah, but like that can be, like, it would be one thing if it was like this weird, like, we went to a hotel and got some drinks and she's like, here's my lingerie and all that stuff, what do you think, but it's like, no, here's just a real live action softcore porn video. Congratulations, you beat a side quest in Yakuza. I was so shocked. I was just like, what am I watching? This is
lot.
ridiculous.
The road you took to get there also sounds like a lot. And it's weird to say, like, well, you worked hard. You get rewarded with the
I
sexy
just sat
lady,
there
but,
playing a video game and they reward me with porn.
you probably did spend, I don't know, 2+ hours on this gentleman's club side quest.
Yeah, something like that.
That
Yeah.
is, I
But then
guess that's the reward you get for going
so then
that
then
deep.
after that finishes,
I guess not going that deep.
the last thing that happens is there's this weird kind of vague hint that she suggests, well, maybe you should be bi. Like, maybe you should go hang out with some other men, like all of that stuff. And it's just like, what? And he's just like, yeah, no thanks, dude. Just like, this is so ridiculous that they lean so hard into it. And I was like half laughing, half just shocked, and like, oh my god, they actually put a softcore porn video in this thing. Like, what in the world? I still just like, oh my god, that happened. And then immediately after that, I went and beat up some people and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was. I think on Twitter I explained all of that stuff. Like, I just watched a softcore live action porn video in this video game for completing a side quest in which I spent like 2 or 3 hours talking with this hostess at basically a gentleman's club, except she was a lesbian, and all of that happened immediately after I was on a yacht chilling while a rival Yakuza family was throwing grenades at me.
This
like,
is the life.
This is a fucking video game. Like, yeah, it was amazing. It was ridiculous.
Did you ever play another different video game after that experience?
Nothing else. I'm just, it's a gateway into hardcore porn. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm kidding, but like, it's just like, it's so ridiculous. I love it.
And this is the same but very different. Have you ever played Shenmue?
No, but I know of it.
Okay.
Shenmue.
Okay.
Which I think they're remaking it too, and it's coming out this year or next year. Something.
Yeah, it's like a
like
re-release or
or
another
they're
sequel.
doing a third one.
Yeah, I think it
Shenmue
might
3.
be the third one. I've not played these, but I watched an entire playthrough of both of them. My favorite YouTuber, his name is Brutal Moose. He also does really good Twitch streams, and he archives all of them on YouTube, and I put those on a lot as background. And I watched him play all of Shenmue, and it is about this teenage boy in Japan whose dad owns a dojo, and his dad is murdered, and he's trying to figure out, like, who killed my dad, but also, and you're just going around like this little town, like talking to people and trying to get clues and like getting into, street brawls. But also, you can go into the arcade and like play darts for as long as you want. There's a gachapon
Yeah,
machine, and you can like go to the gachapon as much as you want. And there's all
that's
these different
exactly what
toys you can
Yakuza is
collect.
too. You can go
And
beat
that I,
people up with safety cones and bicycles and street signs, or you can go to the batting cages, or you can go to the casino and play all sorts of stuff, you know?
I don't play video games, but that concept is the most alluring part of them to me, that I could have the opportunity to go on this epic adventure, or I could just go
Chill
shopping
out.
at the
Yeah.
convenience store in the story. I can
Yeah.
just go buy sodas. I can just go to the arcade. I can play pool if I want to. All
Yeah.
things I can really do for reals in my human life instead of going on a big adventure, which I can't do. But like, you gave me the adventure and I don't care. I want to do the mundane stuff and I want the adventure just there for juxtaposition. I don't want to
Yeah.
actually do it.
So I was watching one of the IGN video podcasts that they do, and Max Scoville was on there because he's a big Yakuza fan. And he was like, Yakuza and Persona 5 are basically the same video game, except Persona 5 is for the anime kids, and Yakuza is for the anime adults. And it's just the same thing. You can go to the convenience store, you can go to the bar and drink, you can do this and that. And I am apparently have the hiccups from my smoothie. There's no alcohol in my smoothie, I promise. But I thought that was really funny. Speaking of video games, there's been other big video game news that happened this week. Reggie from Nintendo
Yeah,
retired.
I did see this.
That, like, bittersweet, because Reggie's amazing. He's been here for the past like 15 years. There's so many memes of him out there and stuff like that. It's great. And he is like the face of Nintendo for America. But his replacement, Doug Bowser.
I love it.
Yeah. So Bowser is running Nintendo of America, and it's really funny.
It's great. It's like if
He's-
they handed over Marvel Pictures to a guy named Bill Ultron.
Yeah, exactly. People were on Twitter like, well, next we'll be hearing about Activision's new CEO, Steve Lootbox, and yeah, it's ridiculous. Doug Bowser isn't new. He's been with Nintendo of America for quite a bit. Yeah, I think he's been with them. He was their vice president, I believe, of sales, or president of sales. I think since like, I want to say 2015, but I might be wrong about that. I don't remember where I heard that. May have been on Games Daily, but yeah, he's been with them, and he's gotten all of the jokes, and now the jokes are like, okay, we get it. His name is Bowser. But I mean, he also kind of knew it would be a thing, because he had a meme up too where it was a picture of him and he was holding up a sign that said like, thank you for the warm welcome, and then behind him on his bookshelf were two like dolls of Mario and Luigi, and they were tied up. It was like, yes, this is amazing. We love it. So hopefully he's out there and he's as like as much of a face of Nintendo of America as Reggie was.
Disney's CEO is supposed to change over in the next couple years. I
Oh,
really
really?
look forward to welcoming Helen Maleficent, I guess.
Yeah. Maleficent herself is here running the company, and like I one of the jokes that I made was like, man, honestly, I'm just disappointed that Mario would let him get this far. Like, just like I'm so disappointed in Mario. He was our hero. He wasn't supposed to let us down. But yeah, fun times.
I watched Super Mario Brothers this week.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's a fascinating experience for me because I'm not a video game person. I didn't grow up with a Nintendo. So I don't have anything to compare it to. I mean, I know the concept of Mario and Luigi, the super plumbers and the mushrooms they jump on, but like I don't have firsthand experience. I have no emotional stakes in it. Like I recognize that it's wrong, but I can't be upset about it being wrong. And so it's just this oddity to me. And it's not a good movie, but there's something
It's
fascinating
just
to me about
so
it.
weird.
Just in the whole production design of everything, like that other world they go to, that whole place, like,
Now let me ask you this: is Mario his first name or his last name?
it's both. It's Mario Mario and Luigi Mario.
Because they are the Mario brothers, which would indicate that Luigi's last name is Mario. But maybe not. Who knows?
Oh. Well, I don't really know much outside of this
The
movie.
Goombas are goddamn chicken nuggets. They're not mushrooms, Sam. My official head canon. They're just chicken nuggets.
So we're watching this movie and we're like, this is a bad Mario movie, and it's not a great regular movie.
I know it is.
But it's kind of like it plays with some stuff. It goes for the fences in kind of an admirable way, and it's like the way it designs its settings and its characters.
I feel like the Super Mario movie is the kind of movie George Lucas would make if he's not supervised.
It is like Howard the Duck for video games.
The story of George Lucas, just that, like the story of Star Wars and Indiana Jones and stuff like that becoming as popular as they are is the story of George, no.
George,
no.
don't.
George, no. So, it's one of those things where it's just like, man, they took some liberties. They took some chances with this one.
It is a dystopian society that they are going to, and of course they defeat King Koopa, or I guess President Koopa, Mayor Koopa, whatever role he has at the end of the movie, and things are going to get better from there. And I want to see what that turns into. Like, it's not a good movie, but there's something about this world where I want to see what it does, and I want to see every facet of it. Like, I want just a walk around virtual reality Koopa Kingdom, exactly like it is in the movie, because it's packed with weird little details, and I just want to go live in it. There's lots of good movies I want to live in, but it's rare that you find a bad movie that you also still really want to go live in. Or not live, but like wander around for 4 hours.
I'm still interested to continue to see what they're gonna do with Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Because that fucking lick-a-tongue should not exist. That is disgusting.
It is it is. What else could they do with it? Like, it's Lick-a-Tongue. That's been Lick-a-Tongue the whole time since like 1997.
Yes. Sam, you're saying I also like how Daisy was a combination of Mario's first Toadstool and Mario Land's Daisy. I guess people thought they were the same princess. There's all sorts of weird like Nintendo, like, is this a thing? I don't know, or just like Mario related. Like, is the thing on Toad's head, is that his head or is it a hat?
Well, there's no rule saying it can't be both. Like, what if you take it off and there's another one underneath there?
Don't do that. It's like the meme where they're like they have the sun glasses on and they take them off and they have a second pair there. Yeah, that just it went places.
Or it's like Double D's hat. Like, we're not supposed to know. It's Toad's private business.
Yeah, well, what? Because didn't Sam, didn't Miyamoto say something recently, like within the past year or so? Because I think I remember Giant Bomb talking about it. I don't know if you keep up with them. But yeah, so just who knows? Who knows that stuff? Also, Sam, are you excited for the what's the new, or not new, but the remake of the Zelda game, the one that just got announced on the recent Nintendo Direct, Link's Awakening? Let's see.
Hasn't he been awake? I don't know my Links.
He falls asleep a lot. They have to wake him up again and again. Yeah, I'm super excited for that game. I haven't played that one, and I really like the art style in that game for the new thing. So I'm gonna be diving into that game for the first time. I still have to go back and play Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So my mom got it for me for Christmas, and I had Eevee before that. I played that one. I need to go back and do Pikachu. Yeah, he looks like a tiny toy. It looks like the Melissa. I'm sure you have no idea what we're talking about.
A toad?
No. So the Link's Awakening remake for the Nintendo Switch that they announced will be out later this year. And it looks like you're looking it up right now. It looks like cute. Yeah, he looks like a little toy, or like a claymation figure, like those Rudolph movies.
Oh, he just wants to go be a dentist.
Sure. No, I don't.
No, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He meets up with Herbie the elf, and he doesn't want to be an elf. He doesn't want to make toys. He wants to be a dentist.
Why aren't you at elf practice? Thank you for that one, Sam. Yeah, like it looks good, and it's one of those things. It looks like a fun game for me, never having played it, but then to see other people's excitement, but like, this is one of my favorite Zelda games. They're remaking it for the Switch and blah 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 blah. I'm like, I'm in. This sounds fun. This looks good.
That's cute.
Educate me. So I'm excited for that one. Hell yeah. Did you happen to see the tweet that I retweeted this week about the lightsaber dueling?
No, I saw that when you put it in the show notes. That's very exciting.
Yeah, so apparently the French Fencing Federation, 3 Fs, triple F, has now recognized lightsaber dueling as a competitive sport. And let's be honest, it's that much closer to being in the Olympics. Imagine watching the Olympics and people are having lightsaber fights.
God, Tokyo 2020. They could bring it to life.
Yeah, well, yeah. And Sam, who knows about that Final Fantasy VII remake? I know they're bringing it to the Switch, but the actual remake of that one, who knows if that's ever going to happen at this point. But yeah, lightsaber fights in the Olympics would be amazing.
Gosh.
Just for the simple fact that it seems just like a big gimmick to me. Like,
I wonder how close it is, like, in the rules of play that apparently exist. Like, how close is it to fencing?
It needs to be so much faster paced.
How do they make it, like, sci-fi flavored? And, like, what is your play surface? Are you just on a mat? Do you play it on, like, a hard gym floor? Is the sand lightsaber fights? Because in the movies, they're always fighting
need to have
on, like,
the music and everything.
Or in,
yeah.
like, a middle of a chasm. They're just in a chasm, an indoor chasm.
You've seen those game shows, right? Like Ultimate Gladiator or something like that, where they're on like a balance beam and they have the like sticks and they have to like hit each other off. It should be like that, where they're on these like obstacles and they have to be like on top of them. hiding. And there might be one where they can actually have a sword fight, and stuff like that. But to have it be this like epic thing where the water is like lava red and there's lights and it's going and and they have the whole Star Wars this stuff going on. That'd be amazing.
If you win, instead of playing your nation's anthem, they play Duel of the Fates.
Surrender, Anakin! I have the high ground! It just be like it's so dumb. Is the thing like that? That's why I want it to happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Just like I just want to see what that would be like.
Okay. And like lightsabers is the gateway. After we get lightsabers, we're gonna get light cycle racing from Tron. We're gonna get whatever kind of bending is easiest. Water, fire, earth, air, one of them.
If you could be a bender, what type of bending would you be?
I don't know. What about you? Do you have yours picked out?
I do. And I say this because they didn't bring it up on the show. So in the show, water benders can also blood bend. Right?
Yes.
No,
this is correct. Yeah.
But then they don't really get into the aspect that there's iron in people's bloods and metal benders should be able to blood bend too.
Yeah, like in X-Men 2.
Yeah, which I it's been a while since I've seen Korra, and I don't remember if they get into that because there's some blood bending that happens in Korra, and I don't remember if it's water or if it's metal. But yeah, it's one of those things like earth benders can do, but but there's iron in your blood, Sam. That's a thing. Like, come on, it's little rocks, little rocks or something. I don't fucking know science, but yeah, like I just in my mind that makes because it like you mentioned in X-Men where he can control the iron in your blood because it's a metal.
But that
and so if earthbenders can bend metal
and of iron supplements before he went into Magneto's chamber, like just the regular guy Magneto couldn't control. He had to be pumped full of iron.
I don't know, but I think if I could do that, then it's like, well, then I have 3 powers. I can earth bend, I can metal bend, and I can blood bend. I can basically do whatever I want. And so if that was the case, I would do that. However, I feel like I would, I don't know. I feel like I would be an airbender. Air or water?
Yeah, same.
I would be.
I don't know. I'm very
firebending is so cool.
I could
Hotman.
I know I wouldn't be a firebender for sure. Oh, maybe I could do earth.
I wouldn't be a firebender. But
what bender are you? Quiz.
It would be cool. How many questions is the quiz?
I don't know. I'm still trying to find a good one. My office has been all over personality quizzes this week. I mean, we still get all of our work done. We're very productive.
Mm-hmm.
But in our little bits of spare time, we keep picking like a pop culture title.
Bone bending. That's a neat one. Too. Ham said, how come earth benders don't bone bend? That could be interesting.
That's distressing. I kind of like it
because it's calcium. I don't know if they can. I mean, I guess that qualifies as earth because there's calcium deposits in the earth. I don't know.
But yeah, every day we pick a new like pop culture franchise and we go find a personality quiz about it.
God,
and we decide
I would hate you guys at that. Like, leave me alone with these fucking personality quizzes. God damn it.
This week we did What all did we do this week? We did which Muppet are you? Which Friends character are you? Which
God
Office character are you? I already gave everybody an Avenger. We didn't do personality quizzes for that one because we didn't need to because all of my assignments were correct.
damn. Uh, I don't think I've like yeah I don't think I've ever done any of those things. I know I'm a Gryffindor. But that's it.
Oh.
That's because one of my exes made me. She was big into Harry Potter. She's like, you need to make a Pottermore account. Like, okay, sorry.
I
It
would
wasn't
take
that bad, but
personality quizzes a lot in like eighth grade when I'm like, I can get on the internet and do things. I don't know what to do. So I just wind up on like Quizilla. So I would take them all the time as like a young teenage girl.
uh huh.
And I'm not the sort of person that like does them all the time. Like I never officially did my Pottermore sorting because I'm like, oh, I'm a Hufflepuff. I don't need the computer to tell me. Like I don't know my Myers Briggs type. I don't know all of those things. I don't go crazy with them. I don't usually do them. But if everybody in
Oh, I
the
hate these
office is
things.
doing them, I'm gonna do them too.
Yeah, I hate these things
I think
because they're
they're
so
they're fun
I
every once in a while.
yeah every now and again they're not that bad. I had to do one for work, which I think I mentioned on episodes of the show when it happened.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but let's see. The they did one where it was like it had some weird thing where it didn't make sense to me, and it ended up having me pick things that's like, well, I have to pick this according to your rules, but that's not what I would pick naturally, and stuff like that. It was a thing of uh, like 1 and 5 were reserved for like I do this exclusively or I never do this thing, and then like 2 through 4 was the like I do this a lot and I do this a little, and now I'm in the middle. So
Yeah.
it was something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but then in the course of answering the same question 50 different times because they just
Mhm.
reword it differently, it was a thing where it's like, well, like according to your rules I need to do this one and that one because that's what I'm like, just that's how it falls in with your rules. But that's like, if you just ask me that straight up, that's not what I would say. I was
Mhm.
like, this isn't accurate, like blah 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 blah. Who knows, it was weird. But uh same, you're looking at the Basco, definitely bad. The Bingo Bango Basco. I don't know what that is. I
Oh.
don't do Big
Oh.
Bang
Mm.
Theory either.
What
Bazinga,
are
I know
what
that.
are you talking about?
Sam was talking about another clickbait quiz thing,
Mm.
and I think it was a like a which Big Bang is. The quiz is a joke from the Onion's BuzzFeed parody,
Mm.
is what Sam says. There you go. There you have it, folks. Um, but in the end, the one I took at work was fairly accurate, and it's really weird for me because like the way I have to be with the podcast and stuff, being talkative and having to be like in charge, like that's not me at all. And be like, okay, we need to be here at this time. What time are you available? Let's figure all that stuff out. That is not me at all. I'm the one who's just like, I'll show up.
I think
It's me.
maybe this is why you're such a good podcaster because you don't have anything else to like take away that energy. Like it all goes here. You direct all of your
Basically,
like organizational and like social talents here.
basically, for the most part, yeah.
Well, I took that quiz and I'm an airbender. I am fun
Okay.
loving and free spirited. I always want to lighten the mood. Helping others is a priority. I don't like being tied down. Sometimes your trusting and adventurous nature can make you seem naive or restless, but use these traits to make friends easily. People trust you. You believe in second chances, change, and finding joy in life. This all makes sense, Kyle. I'm an
My eyes
airbender.
were opened before me. Everything makes sense now.
This
My
one,
whole life.
this is Monday's quiz.
There you go.
Okay.
If that's what you got for airbender, I feel like I would either be water or earth then.
Mm.
But I don't know. Like I feel like earth is more stubborn.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm stubborn. Maybe I am.
No, no, you're not.
I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
You're not going to take it and you're just going to wonder forever.
I'm a goddamn fucking earthbender who can bone bend and blood bend and do whatever the fuck I want, and god damn it, that's me being stubborn.
Origami. Have fun spending the rest of your days.
Maybe I am an earthbender because I'm just like, god damn it, I'm fucking stubborn. I want to do this thing. Why won't it let me do this thing?
Oh, that just sounds like you.
Oh man. Oh well. I say we wrap things up with that, though. Did you have any last words for the kiddies out there?
No, just
No.
the standard plugs. I am Wilkie Wit on Instagram and Twitter. When I was giving my plugs on my friend's podcast, I accidentally said, I am called Wilkie Wit on Twitter. And then I'm like, hold on, nobody's ever phrased it like that. What's that mouth doing? That's not right.
What that mouth do? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it is, though. That's what people have to call you on Twitter.
God, I have been on Twitter for a decade now.
They call me Wilkie Wit on Twitter.
They sent me like a little notification, like, hey, you've been here 10 whole years.
It's like it's that gif of that little kid who starts out happy. He's just like, yeah.
Like, this was a punchline when I first joined, and today, again, it is still a punchline. I'm sorry, folks.
Exactly. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want updates for this show or any of the other podcasts we do, at the Whatnauts on Twitter is where you can find them. I guess housekeeping for you at the end. We just did an episode of the review show on The Artist.
Yes.
Which was film. It won lots of awards. All sorts of Golden Globes and BAFTAs and BIFTAs and Bazingas and Bangas and who knows what. It was a lot of fun, though. I highly recommend going to watch that movie wherever you can. I believe it's on Amazon Prime Video.
I found it on Fandango now, which is obscure, but it's the cheapest one.
But go watch that. Go listen to the episode there. What else was I gonna say? I was gonna say something that I had planned. Now who knows? Go follow us on Twitch. That would help us out a lot. Here's what I was gonna say. I'm just gonna do the spiel like this. New episodes of this show come out every Monday. If you want to get them early, you can support us on patreon.com/thewhatnauts for just a single $1. You can be like Sam. Sam supports us on Patreon.
She gives us $1.
Yeah. And if you have the time, you can join us live on Twitch every Friday. I'm assuming it's going to remain every Friday. We still haven't nailed down the exact time. I know I've been saying that for the past couple weeks, but I talked to Jess, and we are going to work something out this week. She's out of town right now, so that's why she's not here this week. But yes, we will figure that out. We'll let you guys know at the Whatnauts on Twitter, where you can do all that stuff. Follow us on Twitch, even if you cannot catch the live streams, because the numbers do help. We are trying to get our concurrence up, so come hang out with us. Come hang out with Sam, who's usually in the chat with us. It'd be fun to have you guys in and join the conversation. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There you go. That being said, that's all I have. This was episode 40 of the Captain's Log. Yeah, That's what she said. There you go. There you go. And we're done, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, everybody.
The show is done. No more episodes after this. Just kidding. We'll be back next week. We will see you guys then. Adios.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, thank you for watching that episode of The Captain's Log. Click here in the center to go subscribe to our show. Click over here for one of the episodes that we put here, and click over there for the other one. Do the things. Yeah, have fun. Thanks, bye.